What is it?
David's son found out about us. It's causing family problems.
That's dangerous, isn't it? It gets back to John and Angela.
That's the wonderful thing. They're also terrified in Melbourne that that's what'll happen. That they're going to help me get exactly what I want.
Come in.
Thank you. I tried to talk Angela into staying before she went to Mumbai. I didn't get anywhere. You were hoping I'd do all the work, weren't you?
Oh, you don't sound very worried.
Of course I am. All I'm saying is that I can't do any more, personally. I just wanted to get that straight from the start. It's really very simple. Get David or Beryl to call her at Mumbai and suggest that it's not convenient for her to return.
And what excuse do you suggest they make?
Well, that's up to them. Somebody's sick or they need the room for a visitor or something, I don't know.
You've got two choices. Either it'll sound lame, in which case you'll think they don't want her back. I'm sure you'd hate that. Any excuse that doesn't sound lame will have to be worrying. And she's more than likely to be on the next plane down there to see what she can do to help.
Have you got a better suggestion?
Call Gordon. He's got a lot of influence with her.
Gordon's not really in the mood to do anything for me, or David. Yes, he found out. He's being very discreet, but I'd prefer not to ask.
I'm sure he would do it if you pointed out how hurt Angela would be. I assume he's still fond of her.
Of course he is. There's no reason you can't ask.
It's not my place to. I promised Beryl I would help, but quite frankly, it's not my affair. You made the mistakes with David. I gave you your answer. You sort it out.
You're really enjoying this, aren't you? Rubbing it in.
We're not all like you, Patricia. You really want her to find out? No, I didn't think so. Swallow your pride and call Gordon. At the moment, I'd say that's your best bet.
All right. Who was stupid enough to let Kevin find out?
It was an accident.
And he's turned against David?
Yes.
Good.
It's nice spending some time together.
We've been together all afternoon.
That's different. We were shopping. I mean, without your mother or Auntie Barb or Angela.
That's enough.
Well, she started it. Will she be up at Mumbai when we get there?
No, she'll only be up there a day and a bit. So, you reckon my suit's okay, do you?
Very nice. I'll get it. You put the jacket on again.
What for?
I want to have another look. Hello? Hello, Auntie Barb. What have I done now? I can't come home. I'm spending the evening with John. Don't be stupid. I'll see you when I see you. Sounds like she's got some sort of bee in her bonnet. She's on her way over, wants to see you, too.
I hope she's still here.
In there.
I'm sorry, John. How are you?
Fine, thanks, Mrs. Armstrong.
I just spoke to your Uncle Terence. He told me you were thinking of bringing someone to the funeral.
Yes, John.
I don't remember you asking me. I'm sorry, John. It's nothing personal. I thought I made it clear to everyone I wanted the funeral kept private.
I didn't want to bother you.
Prue was pretty upset, Mrs. Armstrong. She wanted me to go with her.
I've never been to a funeral before.
Could we use the study, please, John? I'd like a word with Prue alone.
Sure.
Shut the door. Now, what's all this nonsense about you being so upset?
I was, honey Barb.
Well, excuse my French, but bull. You've been flouncing around the house ever since I got back from Mumbai as though nothing had happened. And don't tell me you've been putting on a brave front for poor Auntie Barb.
I think John must have got the wrong idea.
Oh, I'm sure. I think I know exactly what you're up to, my young lady. And I'm absolutely disgusted. There is a difference between being spoiled and being callous.
I didn't think.
You never do, young lady.
Don't, honey Barb.
You use the death of the man I love to gain some ridiculous romantic advantage over the one boy who's been sensible enough to put you in your place. And if I hadn't promised your parents you could say, I'd send you packing tomorrow. And as far as I'm concerned, the less I see of you from now on, the happier I'm going to be.
Don't, honey.
I'm sure you understand about the funeral, John. I'm sorry for barging in. Bye.
You okay?
I never meant anything like that. I really didn't. I didn't think.
Hey, what's it all about? It's got to be more than the funeral.
I'm sorry. I'll see you tomorrow.
Prue?
Just leave me alone, all right?
Morning.
Morning. Where'd you get to last night?
I was with Charlie. I needed the company. Hadn't you better get a move on? I thought Prue said the funeral was at 10.
I'm not going.
Everything's all right between you two, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, there was a problem last night. Mrs. Armstrong turned up. She really went off at Prue about asking me. Something else, though.
What?
I don't know. She seemed surprised when I said Prue was upset about Mr. Armstrong's death. Just the look she gave her.
Oh, Barbara's a believer in the stiff upper lip. I don't think she likes emotion to be displayed publicly.
She seemed upset last night.
Probably just angry. I've seen her with Simon a few times when he didn't do what she wanted. Basically, she's a very selfish woman.
Whatever it was, she really got to Prue. It's funny how you can be wrong about people. Mrs. Armstrong, she always seems so nice.
First impressions can be wrong, remember? I've done all I can, Fiona. If you want to know any more, you'll have to speak to Gordon yourself. I'd rather you didn't pester me. Goodbye. Oh, Prue, come in. How was it? Silly question, I suppose.
First one I've been to. I hope it's the last.
Would a drink help?
No, thanks. Is John here?
No, he's at the start. Don't know what Alan Pascoe's doing these days, but we seem to have more emergencies than anything else.
Will he be long?
I'm not sure.
I might go out there then.
He told me about last night.
What did he say?
Just that Barbara seemed angry about your inviting him.
Was that all?
He was puzzled. She seemed to think you didn't care for your uncle. I put him straight. I just explained that your aunt is a fairly hard woman. It was best to sort things out. John's a bit of a prude when it comes to things like honesty. I didn't want him to think you were lying to him. I don't want you two to argue. After our talk the other day, I'm very pleased that you're going down to Mumbai with him. If anyone can make him face up to himself, you can. You'll see what I mean when you get down there.
I just don't want to see him being pushed around, that's all. Thanks for sticking up for me.
My pleasure.
Sisters starts Monday on 7.
Hello?
Hello, Mother. Rosie just gave me a message to call.
Been out most of the day, have you?
A fair bit to do down here. Nothing wrong, is there?
No, I just wondered how everything was going. I don't like to call your father. How are he and Angela getting on?
Fine.
You and he?
Okay.
I imagine he's looking forward to John arriving tomorrow.
We're getting on okay.
I'm sure you are. If there's anything you can't manage, don't hesitate to ask him. I found him invaluable. And let's face it, you and I are about as bad as each other.
Dad seems pretty pleased with what I'm doing.
Good. I know he was worried about whether you were up to it or not. Remember, though, one of the main reasons that Gordon rehired John was to help you out with the things that you can't manage yourself. So don't be too proud to ask. He's very efficient. Say hello to Jill for me. Bye-bye, darling. I'll keep eating. Patricia Hamilton.
It's Gordon. I've tried everything I can think of. She won't change her mind.
I'll go into the study. Hold on. Won't be a minute.
You think you can be ready to go by 8 tomorrow?
The quicker I'm out of that place, the better. Auntie Barb's been ignoring me since last night.
You gonna have a talk to her before you leave?
Why bother? She's a pain in the neck. Oh, I don't understand people who can't accept it when you say you're sorry.
Oh, well, won't be any worries at Woombai.
Hope not.
Oh, thanks, Vic. I'll see you in the morning then. Bye.
Up in a ditch and had to get a farmer to haul us out with his tractor.
Last time I drive with her.
I told him whoever left the gate open so the cow could get out.
Wasn't the cow who was speeding?
Anyway, we're here now, so what does it matter? Mine's very weak. Could I have some more gin?
Thanks, Rosie. Well, I can't wait to start work.
We can't wait to have you start. Leave me free to get on with all that paperwork over there.
As soon as I've unpacked, I'm all yours.
I'll do that. Always have.
I'll do my own, thanks. Have we got time for a walk before lunch?
Rosie?
Not too far.
After being cooped up in the car for so long, I feel like stretching my legs. All right?
If you like, we can talk over lunch.
We'll walk down the stable, see how they're going.
You'll be surprised.
Oh, I can't see Rosie taking her to a CWA meeting.
It's beautiful.
Did you have to be so rude to Rosie?
Was I?
The way you ordered her about.
Well, that's her job, isn't it? To do what people tell her?
She's not a servant. She lives here. Not that you shouldn't be polite to servants, too. She's been here for nearly 30 years. It's not too hard to say please and thank you.
All right. If it makes you happy. I'll even let her unpack for me.
Your problem is you're not switched on to other people.
Well, that's the pot calling the kettle black. Keep your eyes open. You'll see what I mean.
I'll get it. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Nice to see you, Patricia.
I told Angela you were coming, stopped her going out on a final shopping binge. Well, I have to leave you two alone, I'm afraid. Now that John's gone, Alan Pascoe keeps ringing me with all his problems. It's Gordon's fault for taking so many men to Woombai. Hope I make it back before you go.
So do I.
Bye-bye, darling.
Bye. Come through. Would you like a drink?
Something cool and soft, please. Well, I heard you're heading down to Melbourne to become a career girl.
Anyone will give me a job.
Oh, they're mad if they don't. What sort of thing do you think you'll be going after?
G'day. Wondered when you turn up. It's been a problem.
What now?
Another hold-up with the materials for the indoor arena. Mal just found out.
That's all we need.
Yeah. You want me to get onto it for you?
If you could, please. Drive me back home, I'll do it. I want to talk to Mal first. Well, let him drive me then. Earn his pay. All right with you, John?
Sure. What do you want me to do after?
I'll stay with Wayne. He may have to go into town. We're going to sit here all day.
Keep your shirt on. See ya.
Work's not all beer and skittles, you know.
Oh, I know that from the first two jobs I had.
Okay, So you've given me the yarn you're spinning everyone else. Now, what about the real reason?
That is the real reason.
This old thing can sniff a cover up a mile away, and these have seen Prue.
All right, I am still jealous. But John seems to have sorted it out, and I haven't.
So you're scurrying back to Melbourne?
Well, I promised Beryl I would if it started to get to me.
Other than that, you might consider staying a little longer?
Daddy was on at me about it yesterday, and I really wanted to say yes. I'm not lying about the job. I'd really like to have one. I mean, sitting around here is driving me nuts. I have to go back to Melbourne, don't I?
You know what you're suffering from? The same as most of us. Prue is a pain in the proverbial. I don't like her and Jill doesn't. No, you're not jealous. You've just joined the club.
Oh, I wish I could be sure.
Make sure. She's not going to last too long. Johnny's far too smart not to wake up to her sooner or later. Hang around. See how you feel about the next one. Maybe even see if you can find someone for yourself. It's too important a problem to ignore.
Oh, it's not just that. It's the job, too.
Some people actually do work in Sydney, you know.
I just thought it'd be easier down there.
Uh-huh. The easy way out. Oh, come on. Give it a go. It's important you sort it out for your own peace of mind.
Mind?
Well, Fiona convinced me it's just as easy to get jobs up here as it is in Melbourne.
I could have told you that. I know the perfect thing for you. Poor Alan Pascoe's really bogged down at the start. He could do with some help in the office.
I can find my own job, Mother.
I'm not trying to interfere, really. He was complaining about it while I was there.
Oh, I'll see.
Oh, don't be so damn proud. Go and see Alan if you don't believe me. I'm telling you now, he's not the sort of man who'd hire somebody just because they were the boss's daughter.
Oh, I'll think about it. But first, I better ring Melbourne. Let them know I won't be back for a while. Won't be long.
Well, the least I can say is thank you.
Don't mention it.
How did you do it?
I talked to her.
Wake a bloke up next time.
Oh, sorry, I must have the wrong number.
Who do you want to talk to?
David or Beryl?
Not here. I'll give him a message.
Oh, just say Angela called. Who am I speaking to?
Rob. I'll make sure they get the message. Bye.
That's a charming sight to come home to.
Oh, who wears pyjamas these days, eh? Oh, we just missed a phone call. Someone called Angela. She's going to ring back.
Thanks.
Who's she anyway? I was half asleep, but she sounded a bit spunky.
I'll, unpack. David can tell you.
Oh. Girlfriend, eh?
No, she's my daughter.
It's stupid. Think of the money you're going to lose.
It's not really any of your business, is it? You're an employee. It's up to Dad and me to make decisions like that.
I didn't say it wasn't. A lot of people are going to be cheesed off if you cancel their courses.
We'll explain we've got problems. Fit them in later.
What's
going on? John's sticking his bib in where it's not wanted, that's all.
That's enough. What's the problem?
No problem. Wayne reckons He reckons you should hold off the opening until the indoor arena's finished.
There'll be at least a 2-week delay on those materials.
I don't see why we have to. We can still have the classes without the indoor arena.
The sort of people we're attracting won't want to see a half-finished setup. First impressions count.
When Patricia and I were here, the idea seemed to be to open as soon as possible.
Well, that was then.
Wayne. Wayne's right. Thanks for the concern, though.
Fair enough. I'll get back to work.
I agree with John.
She would. There's no need to be quite so unpleasant.
Just letting him know where he stands, that's all.
Well, I must be going. Do you mind if I call a cab?
Oh, don't be silly. I'll drive you. I can call into the stud on the way back and ask Ellen about the job. Won't be long. I'll just bring the car around.
I hope this is the last time we'll have to see each other.
I couldn't agree more. Don't think I'd have ever helped you if it hadn't been for David's involvement.
Oh, it never crossed my mind.
I learned my lesson with James.
I've been waiting for you to bring that up. I'm surprised you held out for so long.
It never seemed appropriate before.
I don't see that it is now.
Are James and David the only two? Or do you make a habit of breaking up relationships?
None of your damn business. James loved me. It's more than he ever felt for you, he told me.
I gather you've never told Gordon about him, either. I thought so.
Are you threatening me?
Now, that's your affair. Unless, of course, you ever do anything to hurt the Palmers. Oh, I wouldn't put it past you.
I couldn't care less about David anymore.
Good. Then I'll never have to tell anyone about how you got Gordon his start in business. Will I?
You're a stirrer, Prue.
Just because you don't want to hear the truth.
Mr. Hamilton must have had a good reason. He's a businessman. He's not going to risk his money just to keep Wayne happy.
You still think you're right, though, don't you?
Pig-headed, that's my trouble.
Wayne got snitchy because he knows you're right. He hates you showing him up.
Give it a rest.
You're never going to get anywhere working here, not so long as he's the boss.
I don't want to get anywhere. It's a job. I just want to earn my money.
You're going to have a great future with that attitude. No, really, you must have some idea of what you want to do.
Mr. Hamilton will look after me, as long as I do a good job for him.
God, you're naive. You're Patricia's son, and with the divorce going on, you'll lose out to Wayne all along the line. Mr. Hamilton's going to make sure he keeps things in his family.
He's not like that.
Maybe not, but Wayne is. And with him in his ear, I don't see you getting much of a go.
I am going to get changed for tea.
I don't think we need him here, that's all.
I thought you got things sorted out.
It's business. I'm not against him personally. Maybe he was needed when Mother was here. She didn't have much experience. With Dad and me both working, though, he's one boss too many.
John doesn't want to be a boss. All he did was make a suggestion.
Right, a stupid one, and he wouldn't take no for an answer. We've got too much to do without having to talk him around to our way of thinking.
You're funny when you get a bee in your bonnet.
Haven't got a bee in my bonnet.
Oh, come on, Mona. We have to wash our face and hands for din-dins.
This is stupid.
I'm glad you're being sensible about it.
Well, Alan showed me how much work's banked up. He obviously needs help.
What did I say?
Oh, you can't blame me, Mother.
My meddling days are well and truly over. It was only a suggestion in the first place.
Anyway, Alan rang Daddy and he was fine about it. And he's glad to hear I'm staying on, too. So, I start tomorrow.
Good, I'm pleased.
And it was great to see you and Fiona getting on so well.
Why shouldn't we?
Oh, I just thought she did push you into telling the truth about me and John.
All turned out for the best, eventually. Why hold a grudge?
Oh, I know what you can be like. Remember Deirdre Adams? She did you out of that position on the charity committee. How long was it before you talked to her again?
Years, but that was Deirdre Adams. I have a lot to be grateful to Fiona for. She talked you into staying.
I get the feeling she's going to be lonely, though, with you gone. I might try and get to see a bit of her.
I doubt if you'll have much time for seeing anybody once you start working.
Oh, it's only going to be 8 hours a day. Well, I hope.
Fiona has a lot of friends. You'd be better off ringing up a few of your old girlfriends. I saw Sandra Davis in the bay the other day. She asked after you.
Give me Fiona any day. Well, maybe we could invite her around for a meal sometime.
For the uprights of the stable hands' quarters. Check it. Make sure we haven't been delivered short. Then you can give the other guys a hand digging the foundations. I should take you up till midday. Report back when you're finished.
You don't need me here.
I can look after myself.
Sorry to hear about your parents, the divorce.
Well, it certainly spreads, doesn't it?
I didn't get it from gossip. Your father told me himself. He wants me to do a stock take at the stud, so we can work out where he stands when it comes to the settlement.
Not very pleasant.
No, never is. Right, I'm off. There's not much you can do while I'm gone. Just answer the phone, take any messages. If it's really urgent, there's a number by the phone where you can contact me.
Wasn't there anything else I can do?
Not till I've gone over it all with you. Don't want you messing things up.
Right.
Right on 12 o'clock. What's next?
I'd clean up first.
Yeah, then what?
Get in touch with the local garage in town. Tell them to collect my car. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Well, I'll have a look first, if you like. See if it's anything I can fix.
It's too valuable to have an amateur fiddling with it.
It wouldn't hurt for me to have a look.
All right. You've got until 1 o'clock. I'll be back from the Reed place by then. And be careful with it.
Well, even if I can't fix it, I should be able to tell you what's wrong with it. Some of these garages can see a mug coming a mile off. Hi. Heard about the job. I'm glad you changed your mind. I'm going back to Melbourne.
Why?
I thought you might be rushing into it. Maybe for the wrong reasons.
That's what Fiona said.
Oh, listen to her and not me, eh?
Oh, well, she's prettier than you are. Look, I'm in trouble. It's my first day here, and Alan's gone out and he's not where he said he'd be.
What's the problem?
I had a phone call from one of the clients, Mr. Bradley.
Yeah, know him.
Oh, he's screaming about a bill that's got a vet fee on it for a tetanus injection. I tried to calm him down, but he's coming over. What'll I do?
That'd be Bradley, more trouble than he's worth.
Oh, you were here when his mare was serviced, weren't you?
Yeah, there would be a vet bill. There was a storm one night. She panicked and hurt herself. Can you see the files on the shelves behind you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's indexed there. His file will be there with all the paperwork about it. It's under his company name, Balfalis Proprietary Limited, I think. You better check.
Oh, thanks. I didn't want Alan to think I was some sort of idiot.
Okay, take care.
Oh, look, for heaven's sakes, don't tell Wayne. He'd have a field day.
Don't worry. He's got enough to whinge about already. See ya.
Okay. Bye.
Thought you said you'd get it done by 1 o'clock.
Yeah, well, I was on the phone to Angela.
Ah, terrific. Leave a job to have a nice chat with your sister. You're about as reliable as half the other idiots we've got working here.
I didn't say a word.
You can get the damn garage to do it.
No, my fault.
Would you like a copy of the paperwork?
No, there won't be any need for that.
Trouble, Mr. Bradley?
Not anymore. Your young lady sorted it out. Thanks for your time. Mrs. Hamilton?
What was the problem?
Oh, he was querying a vet bill, but I managed to sort it out from the files. Ben did a lot of smiling.
Good. I know what he's like to deal with.
His wife's as bad.
She's doing surprisingly well in the short time. I'm back for the rest of the day. If anybody wants me, I'll be down with Joe.
All right if I go for a ride?
I could hardly stop you, Mrs. Hamilton.
You'll be seeing quite a bit more of me down here. Need the exercise.
I'll make sure your horse is on standby.
Nice to see you're doing so well.
Surprisingly well. Why is it such a surprise?
Because you're almost totally inexperienced. At least it shows he's not pandering to you because you're the boss's daughter.
Didn't think of it like that.
You just have to keep up the good work. Did you really sort all that out on your own?
Oh, I rang Mumbai. John told me where to look.
Well, there's no point in telling Alan that, is there?
No, no point at all. I Thought I'd seen the last of homework when I left school.
Under pressure, huh?
Oh, no, I just want to know the files back to front. Can't go calling Mumbai every time something goes wrong.
Well, if you get into any difficulties, don't be afraid to give me a yell.
You hear me from the stud.
I think the business can afford a phone call. I mean it. I haven't forgotten setting up Mumbai. Half the time I didn't know what was going on. What did I know about renovating houses and horse jumps, for heaven's sake? Oh, I'd have got into terrible difficulties if I hadn't had John behind me.
Okay, I won't forget the offer. I'll give it a few weeks. If he doesn't think I'm good for anything more than running messages or answering phones by then, I might pack it in. Better drag a brush through my hair before I go, too.
Patricia Hamilton?
It's Fiona Thompson. May I speak to Angela?
I'm sorry she's not here. Can I take a message?
I just wanted to ask her how she's getting on in the new job.
She's doing very well so far.
Will she stick at it?
There's no risk of her heading back to Melbourne in the near future. So there's really no need for you to keep in touch, is there? Need to be so formal, Alan. Patricia's fine, especially when I've got a favor to ask.
Oh, what's that?
Angela forgot to take a lunch. Oh, that's not why I asked you over. But it is Angela I'd like to talk about. Sit down.
Thank you.
I know that you're very busy at the moment, and you really only need somebody for general office duties, but I'm very keen to see that Angela gets proper training in the job. Cigarette?
No, thank you.
You see, I think she's old enough now to understand what responsibility means and to get some satisfaction from it. She brought quite a lot of work home with her last night.
Oh? That's good.
You'll find she's perfectly willing to learn. And that's why I'd like you to see she gets the chances. I think you'll find she needs to be challenged to persevere.
She won't get any special treatment because she's the boss's daughter.
Oh, I'm not pulling rank, honestly. As a personal favor.
I'll give her the chances when I can. I'll make sure she gets a bomb put under her when she needs it and a little bit of praise when she deserves it.
Fine. Really all I wanted to hear. I'd hate to see her get disillusioned and go rushing off again. So nice having her around the house.
Right, well, I'll drop in with the occasional progress report.
You sure you won't have a drink?
No, thanks. They'll be waiting me back at the stud.
It really is a terrible pun, but she does have an appetite like a horse.
Well, I better get going then. It's almost lunchtime.
Oh, and if she's wondering why you were here, perhaps you could say I was organizing a horse riding afternoon for some friends or something. She tends to be stupidly independent sometimes.
Sure, no worries.
Thanks a lot.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You can stop looking so worried. I've got your lunch.
You've been at the house.
Your mum wanted to see me.
What about?
Some friends of hers. They want to fix up a riding afternoon or something.
Well, there's enough in here to feed an army. Do you want to join me?
As long as I'm going. Suppose your mum must be pretty lonely now, with a divorce and all. None of my business, I suppose.
Oh, that's okay. Well, no, not really. It got her down at first, but she's been trying to get over it.
Goes out and that, does she?
Oh, she's got a friend who makes sure of that. I think she's trying to push every eligible man in Sydney under Mother's nose. Come on, I'm starving.
Are these your initials?
Yeah?
So you took delivery of the hay this morning?
Yes.
Did you count the bales before you signed?
No, but I asked the guy if they were all there, and he said they were.
Never take anyone's word for it. There were supposed to be 8 dozen bales. There are only 7. It's probably just a supplier's mistake, but officially we don't have a leg to stand on because you've authorised a receipt.
I'm sorry, I'll check in future.
Good. It's partly my fault. I'll have to make your training a bit more systematic, won't I?
Don't teach her too much. She might wind up pinching your job.
Not much chance of that.
Drop them out down the post office, will you? I'll get onto the hay supply and try and convince them it's their blue.
Okay. Thanks for sending lunch.
I'd have brought it myself if I'd known I was coming in. Could you spare a moment?
Sure.
Angela! Hi. I've got something for you. Cruise check for stabling fees. I understand that's your department now.
Well, till I go on to bigger and better things. You should have posted it.
Oh, I needed to get away from the house. Well, anyway, from the phone.
I'll just write out a receipt. Won't take long. I'm just writing out a receipt for Mrs. Armstrong. And don't worry, I'll double-check it.
Very sorry to hear about Roland, Barbara. I know what you must be going through.
Do you? I've heard enough platitudes over the past few days to last me a lifetime. I'm sorry.
You still want to go for a ride?
Yes, I think so.
I'll see you to your horse.
I owe your mother an apology.
Oh, well, I'm sure she meant to say the right thing.
I'm sure. Unfortunately, she came at the end of a long line of well wishes.
Oh, well, I'll explain. She's been a bit twitchy lately.
Hmm?
Oh, the divorce.
I thought she was very happy about it.
Oh, no, she's really pretty depressed. Daddy's the one who's pushed it.
Well, I may be wrong, but I've noticed a few things lately. The odd chance remark. I can't help thinking that he's still not over your mother.
You sure?
My intuition has never led me down yet.
That's funny. Oh, it's just that I've had exactly the same feelings about Mother. Well, she's been moping around the house.
It'd be a sad joke if they each went through with it because they thought it was what the other one wanted.
Maybe I should say something.
Well, it's up to you. You never know what you can do till you try.
I was being subtle. I was just thinking about you and Daddy.
You could give yourself a migraine.
Oh, seriously. Well, you know what he's like. I mean, if he believed you really wanted the divorce, he'd keep his feelings to himself, whether he wanted to go along with it or not, wouldn't he?
Your father has always played his cards very close to his chest. What makes you think he isn't 100% in favor of the divorce?
Well, what makes you so sure he is? If you want to get back together again, isn't it dumb not even to ask him if he's interested?
Your father's consistent, if nothing else. I can't see him going back on such a major decision.
Well, maybe not, but then I can be pretty pig-headed at times, and you and I are friends again. And John's no pushover, and you and he are talking. So?
So you think I ought to go for the hat trick, huh?
Just wanted us all to be a family again, if it worked out.
We haven't been much of a family for years.
But we're getting on so much better. I'd like it. Still, it's up to you and Daddy. Know what I feel like eating? I haven't had it since John went to Sydney. Fish and chips. Be in it?
Why not? Angie, why is it so important to you, being a family again?
The house doesn't seem right somehow. It's like I'm not comfortable here anymore. Does that sound stupid?
No, it doesn't, darling. Not at all.